those of you who do not know me, my name is Joram Githaiga. I am the founder and CEO of a small company called Reville. And I am also a person who established a platform called the Public Debate Forum. Its director is here with me. Right? Look at them. Where we empower young people to be more bold, to be more empowered, and so many more things. But I'll reference that baadaye. So the reason why I am here is because I had an interaction with the chairperson and he felt as though there are a couple of things I should sensitize in this club as far as value addition to this club. Is that okay? Okay. So there's an initiative I wanted to launch in the school with the office of the, I had already spoken to the office of the dean, but I had not gotten to the point where I was going to speak to the leaders of the various clubs. That initiative involved visiting every club in the school and speaking to those clubs in terms of how they can brand themselves better, first and foremost as a club, second as each and every individual of the club. So how best, number one, you can brand, to those of you who are writing, how best you can be able to network and take advantage of some of the opportunities the club is giving you, how you can create a profile for the club as well as for you as an individual, how you can create a strategic plan as an individual, how you can begin doing projects as a club and even as an individual, and finally the approach you want to take when it comes to doing all of these things. So really the conversation will involve around something we call value addition. My brand is founded on something we call being a value architect. What that means is I equip, I train, I engage with people in terms of how, or rather in conversations of how I can make them better. Better at what? Better at what they want to do, better at what they are already doing, and better at how to approach situations, how to approach life, and how to approach even institutions. Bado tuko pamoja? Okay. So, to begin with, I will not be able to tell you per se, or rather we will not be able to do that training today about how best you can network, how you can build a brand, how you can write a profile and a portfolio, how you can write a strategic plan, and how you can do your projects. But I want to do a small piece of that, of the value conversation. The new guys will tell me whether you want me to come next, so that now we can do a whole session, okay? A whole capacity building session. Is that okay with you? Yes. Okay. So when it comes to value, I'll start by asking, according to you, what is value? Value meaning? To begin with, value meaning. Anyone? Anyone who can tell me what value is? Okay. If you cannot tell me what value is, can you tell me what is your value? Okay? No. It's okay. It's okay. Any answer is correct. I just need someone to kind of invoke that aspect. So can anyone tell us what is my value? Before I tell you what is my value. Anyone? Yes, okay, I start with myself. Okay. Something else I forgot to mention. I forgot to recognize the presence of the team I came up with. He's Fiesta. He's Simon. Where is Winnie? Who is Winnie? She did not come. Okay. She's Bessie. He's John. He's David. They're all part of my organization and some of the things we do. Anyway, so to begin with, my definition of value is worth or capacity. Those of you who are writing. Value is by definition worth or capacity. To those of us who are spiritual, what is capacity? You're told a lot, let us build capacity. What is capacity? Capacity is being able to project your skills, your gifts, your talents in a way that you can be able to monetize them, or in a way that they can be beneficial to you in the short term or in the long term. Is that understood? Now, to begin with, who am I? I am Joram Githaiga. What is my value? My value is simply this. I have the capacity to be able to speak so vocally and so fluently that I can use that to train other young people to see their potential as far as the things they want, as far as helping them achieve their dreams or reaching their potential. Is that understood? So when I leave here, I want us to have a couple of questions in mind. Write them down. Number one, who am I? Who am I? Where am I from? Okay? Where am I going? What can I do? And how can I do it? I want us to start there. Number one, who am I? Number two, where am I from? Number three, where am I going? Number four, what can I do? And how can I do it? Okay? Now, who can answer any of those questions? Just any. You can answer just one or just two. It will be okay. Okay? Yes.
I can answer where am I?
Yes. It's okay.
I'm in the famous school.
Okay. Correct. That is who is. Okay? Now, I want you to understand the reason some things are the way they are. For example, what is it that when we are told, or rather when we are asked, who am I? We were taught to respond by giving our names. The reason is you are so deep that if you are going to describe who you are, you would take us years of you breaking down who I am by definition. So we invoked the aspect of when humanity was developing into an advanced being, we identified the use of names or taglines to identify ourselves with certain things. That's why you will say something like, I am a student. Being a student is by definition what, it's a representation of what you are doing. Who am I? I am Joram is a representation of what I define myself as, or rather, what my parents defined me as. And then they passed on that baton to me to define us. So now we've been able to understand who am I. So who am I is founded on the conversation of identity, meaning none. You break that down more complexly, you'll be able to understand who am I is also founded on, I love to be around fellow young people. Speaking now is Joram Githaiga. Something else, who am I is also founded on, I love to write. I write poetry, I write booklets, leaflets, I love to write. That's still part of my identity. Okay? Then where am I from? Who can tell us, who can answer that? Someone different? Someone who is not from the team? Anyone? Where am I from? Umetoka wapi? Like your source, not where you stay here. Usinyamie Morogoro. Yes.
Sitasema kwenye kutoka you are penye umefika sasa unaangalia what changes have occurred. Maybe behavior.
Yes. The conservation of value is founded on, just like you put it, being able to understand the deeper aspects of self. The conversation always starts with self. Every conversation we have in the world, even when it comes to leadership, we begin with self. The conversation of self is founded on these very fundamental questions that I am asking today. Thank you very much for referencing that. So where am I from? The source. So your source isn't, okay, when we answer the word, like I said, who am I? We answer the name. Where am I from? You answer the area. But where am I from is also founded on who are your parents, what kind of people are they, who are your siblings, what kind of people are they, what's the culture you grew up around, what are some of the social cultural aspects you've been interacting with your entire life. Okay? So where am I from? That, the source. So what my identity? Where am I from? The source. In my case, where am I from? I'm from Kamwangi village in Gatondo North constituency in Kiambu County. That's where I'm from. Okay? Yeah. Where am I going? When you understand who you are and where you are from, the next aspect you need to understand is where am I going? Because life is by definition, we are moving forward, whether we like it or not. So we need to be able to understand where we are going. I'll give it back to the audience. Who can answer? Where is he or she going? Anyone? Anyone? So, anyone? Sawa, okay. Where I am going is founded on the direction I want to take with my life. Simply put, those decisions we make that define what we become or the direction we are taking in our lives. For example, when I came to this school, my ambition was very simple. To make as many friends as possible so that I can vie as a student leader, so that by the time I was in fourth year, I became the president of Kirinyaga. When I lost my first election, I discovered politics isn't really my specialty because I don't have a cutthroat personality. I'm too gentle and too soft, so to speak. And politics requires a level of grit and hard-shelled nature, so to speak. So I needed to change my trajectory. So the aspect of leadership was always a part of me, but I changed the direction. And so I decided to focus my leadership angle on corporate, which is why I am here today talking about value. Now, after that, after you understand which direction you're taking, you have to understand what can I do. We all know what we can and cannot do. In this area, we break down, or you break down as an individual, your strengths separate from your weaknesses. For example, a strength I have, I'm a very good speaker. I can speak to people. A weakness I have a challenge when it comes to focusing on the same thing for too long. And in order to build capacity, you need a level of focus. That's a weakness. Okay? So being able to separate those strengths and those weaknesses. Finally, how can I do it? So the minute you're able to understand what you want to do, you simply begin to ask, what is at my disposal? Okay? And you are able to look into Nikonahi and Hizina. For example, when I founded Reville as an organization, I was sure I wanted to change the lives of young people. I was sure I could get the young people. What I was also sure about is I did not have the money to kind of set up something huge. So I learned to work with what I have, which is where the concept of innovation was born. So by definition, All those questions I am asked constitute, or rather are the constituents of being able to define value. Because once you're able to understand self, you will now be able to understand areas where you can fit and areas where you cannot fit. You're able to understand who you need to target and why you need to target them. For example, togetherness Invu is what defines the Red Cross. And that definition is what allows you to know this is how far the Red Cross can go, or this is where it cannot go. So you can partner with the government, but you cannot be conjoined to the government by definition. So once we break down all of those things, we will be able to begin now to understand what do you want to be, what does she want to be, what does he want to be, and how, where to start, where can you actually start, what do you have that can help you start. Now from there, we create now something we call an inbuilt brand, because you build a brand in your head, then once you build it in your head, you now begin to project it. Okay? So once we've done that, now we do the documents. We create a very good portfolio depending on who you're targeting. Okay? Some of you want to do leadership in the political sector. We help create a profile or a portfolio for you that is oriented to the political scene. Someone else wants to enter field, we do the same for you. But generally, in every area you want to venture into, you need a profile or a portfolio. Now, what's the other thing? Being able to network. For example, today we had a forum in school. How many of us were there? Those of us who are not there, you understand you missed out on an opportunity to network with some of the most powerful people in this country. So now you need to understand the value of attending events like those. And now to those who attended, let me use my people as an example. Umechukua namba za wangapi hao wakuu?
Wawili.
Okay, that's good. Now ask me the same question.
Umechukua namba.
What? Including the representative of the British High Commissioner. Okay? So the idea is I want us to have a conversation about how best you can network. For example, how best should you be dressed for an event like that? Because fine, if it is an event like that, you needed to be dressed in a sense formal. If it is a different event, you also need to wear something different. Okay? Because about, let's say, to remember children's home, and very senior people have come. Honestly, what are you doing in a suit? You should be there, unakaa na kashati imekunjwa hivi ndio. Sasa ukienda kumwomba na huyu mtu amekuwa akifanya kitu the whole day. Sasa ukienda hapo na suit hapo like, are you sure ulikuja kusaidia watoto? You see my point? That's part of networking. As I finish, what was the other thing? Oh, a strategic plan. A strategic plan is what guides your steps, especially if you're a founder or especially if you're working in an organization. Or something like the Red Cross. The Red Cross needs, beyond having a schedule where you organize events, you need a strategic plan. Where do you want the Red Cross, the Kenya Red Cross of the United University to be? Because there is the likelihood of this club dying. How will you ensure it doesn't die? You need to have a strategic plan. That strategic plan complements your constitution in this sense. You know exactly next step you need to define how you're going to be able to attract next year September new members enough for this club to continue to grow. Then again, in that strategic plan, how can the club add value to its individual members? So the strategic plan will help you do that. will also be able to cover that. And finally, you don't need to graduate to have a project you've done or a project you've written down in your own name. So I want us to talk about forums like Get His Hand, where you can do a whole project, or isn't it for this in each one? They have one. They are called projects. Yeah, they are called projects. So how can you do a project and for it to be recognized on an international platform? Because you don't have to be tied down by Kirinyaga University. If you don't want it in written form, assuming you're not pursuing academia, how can you push for a project? I know maybe you guys have been taught how to write proposals. But now, in as much as you know how to write proposals, do you know the exact people you want to be taking those proposals to? Because kuna mtu unaweza pelekea hiyo proposal akuibie. So we've seen situations like those. Then kuna mtu utapelekea proposal atake kukusaidia. Finally, I want us to understand the approach we take. As far as how we approach our lives, as far as how we approach people and the way we interact with people, and finally, we need to have an approach as far as how we deal with institutions. Okay? Have I made any sense? Because I'm done. You can stop recording now. Thank you very much.